Happy freaking Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wednesday. What a great day to be alive. What a great day to wake up on the right side of the dirt. Man, I've got a lot of energy today. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a good day. You know, is that acceptable? Is that acceptable? You know, like, do we really need a reason other than just enjoying life? With all my excitement, you might think that I won the lottery or something, but I'm here to tell you that I did not. The silent recession is still kicking me in the butt. We're going to get through it. We'll make it. It'll be okay. We'll figure it out. What I do know is that we've already got, 24 people in the chat? Damn. All right, let's go ahead and get into some chat shout outs. Shout out to Marco, a channel member. Thanks for joining in, Marco. Thank you for being a channel member. Welcome into Broke Arizona Knives. I think is it Broke As Knives or Broke Arizona? I think it's supposed to be both. I don't know. Shout out to Marcos Gamma, Neil McKenzie. We've got Todd Carr. Welcome in, Todd. Dang Ross joining in as well. Level on up. He says RSP. Thanks, man. I'm already hyped. It's probably the Red Bull. Shout out to James Alton, another channel member. James, thank you for being a channel member. And we got Ed B in the house, another channel member. We got Knives Are Life says, what's up, everybody? What's up, man? Thank you for joining us today. Bangkok Mark joining in as well. Paul Mills in the house. Homer Feltes, Jim Miller, thank you guys. Brian Kerr, thank you guys all for being channel members. Dang. We got Eric Man 967 reviews. Welcome in. Mark Parks, another channel member. Joseph S. Kevin C. I'm going nuts. You know, I think maybe I'm excited because, you know, I was browsing the interwebs today and I just keep seeing new stuff popping up everywhere. And I'm not surprised. SHOT Show is going on. I don't know. I was never going to make it this year, guys. I got too much stuff going on. You know, life catches up with you. You get busy with work. And work and family, it keeps me busy. So it's going to be really hard for me to make it to the shows this year. Would I like to? Absolutely. I would absolutely love to go to a Blade Show Atlanta. I've been told that if I go to a knife show, the one that I absolutely have to go to first is Blade Show Atlanta. Consequently, that is also the most expensive because you guys are all there and all of the hotels are taken up. So it is what it is. I would love to make it. If I do go, the one that I'd probably be able to make it to the easiest would be Blade Show West in Utah, because I'm in Colorado. Utah's just right next door. That would be the easiest one for me to make it to. So I think that's probably the one that I would try to make it to first, just to, you know, keep costs down and, you know, just take it easy, see how it goes. We'll see. Who knows? You never know what's around the next corner. But what did you carry today? What was in your pocket? Today, I carried this guy. This one's been getting a lot of carry time recently. This is my Spyderco Paramilitary 2 Emerson Edition in LMAX. It's a Blade Ops exclusive. And I put the Sharp Dress Knives Dark Matter Red Fat Carbon Fiber scales on here. Such a phenomenal knife. I love carrying this thing. It feels good in the hand. It's lightweight, gets the job done. Can't go wrong with the Spyderco. But that's what was in my pocket today. What was in your pocket? What did you carry? Was it an armory? Was it a single knife? Was it 3 knives? I know some of you guys come in the chat with like, dude, I carried this, and I'm wondering, like, does everyone have cargo pants? I don't know. Maybe I just haven't jumped on the cargo pant train yet. Ed B says your review yesterday made me carry my Livewire. Nice. Livewire is so good, and I had a feeling that it was going to be good. You know, when I compare it against other American-made OTFs, you know, and I haven't tried out every one of them, but I've tried out a fair amount, you know, and I gotta say, I look at that and I see how frequently they're on sale for $200. I'm like, why? Why is anyone buying a microtech before they buy a Livewire first? You know, if you already have one and then you want to add to the collection, or maybe you're a microtech collector, okay. But if you are John Doe down the street and you want an OTF, American-made OTF with good action, good tolerances, good materials, I don't know how you could justify spending twice as much on anything else. You know what? Who knows? Maybe I'll try an American-made OTF that makes me go, you know what? Yeah, okay, I would spend twice as much on this. But so far, if I could only have one American-made OTF, I would save myself a couple $100 and buy a Livewire. It killed me to send that back to a Blade Ops, but that was a loaner, had to send it back, which is a shame. Let's see, Bangkok Mark carried the Spidey Manix 2 in Rex 45, because just got recently and still in the honeymoon phase. You know, sometimes those honeymoon phases last forever. I'll give you an idea. This one lives on my desk. I am always handling this one. I still love it. The Brian Brown V3 Jaeger M. It's fantastic. Absolutely love it. I really, also, the collector in me is happy about the fact that it's one of 50. They only made 50 with this dark matter red fat carbon fiber. I haven't done my follow-up review on it yet because I want to give it a true, like, 30 days later kind of review. You know, I don't want to come hot out the gates like 2 weeks later. Yeah, I still love it, because that could still be the honeymoon phase. Who knows? You know, like, am I going to put it in my display case and then come back later and be like, nah, you know, I lost interest? I don't know. Another one that I've been loving, absolutely loving, that never ceases to amaze me is this guy, the Quiet Carry 9. Ooh, such a good knife. The cutting geometry on here is good. The factory edge bevel, it's okay, you know, as far as factory bevels go, but I am going to put my own edge on here, and I know based on this cutting geometry, the blade geometry is going to allow for some really, really slicey cutting, and I'm excited for that. It's going to be fun. I actually look forward to sharpening my knives, to putting my own edge bevel on a knife, because then I know that when it's a freaking laser beam, that's me. I can be proud of that. And when people are like, oh my gosh, you know, they go to borrow your knife, not that I would lend someone this knife. It's a point of pride. Thomas McDonald carried the CJRB Frac. Nice. I like that one too. That's a good one. James Alton's carrying the Benchmade mini grip and a case mahogany bone Sodbuster Jr. Very cool. Hey, shout out to Craig Vincent. Welcome in, man. Good to see you. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up with the chat. You guys are making it difficult. Let's see. EricMan967 says, I'm thinking about the Livewire good deal. It is a great deal. And listen, with the return policies that these retailers have, I would just go ahead and get one. Even if you know that there's a 50% chance that you're not going to keep it. I was honestly very impressed. The level of fit and finish, the attention to detail, the fact that it is a EDC first OTF, like there's no glass breaker on the back. It was not an OTF that was designed specifically for first responders, which I feel is kind of the way that microtech goes. It's just so good. Decaf Cappuccino says, yo, Rolly and the crew. Hey, welcome in, man. Good to see you. Bangkok Mark says, as we chatted before, I really wanted a live wire, but no dealer would ship with a delivery guarantee, so I ordered the Max Ace Neptune a week ago. The Max Ace Neptune looks fan-freaking-tastic. And you know what? Let's go ahead and take a peek. So I looked this up after I saw your comment, Mark, because I'd heard of it, but I never actually looked at it. And it looks great. I know Beard of Doom recently got one. He seems to be enjoying it. I like that the blades look different. I like that the price on them isn't bad. So check out these blade shapes. Like, yeah, I get it. You know, they're your dagger style, and then obviously your Tonto, and you know, your partial serrated, but $108? Seriously? Seriously? Like, that's great. What I don't know is why Max Ace isn't listing the, like, where's the steel? What kind of steel is it? How does Max Ace get away with having a website that needs this much work? Come on, Max Ace. I know I could probably find the information elsewhere, but I shouldn't have to. If I go to your website, I should be able to find it. $108. That's pretty good. Pretty good. And you know what, guys? It's not the Neptune, but there will be a Max Ace showing up on the channel relatively soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that. It's not the Neptune. It'll be something else. But I'm excited about it. It's going to be a very satisfying knife. I like knives that make me feel satisfaction. And it's not one that's made its rounds throughout the community as far as reviewers go either. So we'll see. It's a new design from them, and I'm excited to check it out. Hey, shout out to Hungry Bird. Welcome in, man. Hungry Bird says, took a shaman to my remodel project and ended up using the Oknife O-Tackle U1 with the crossbar lock. Pretty good utility design. Oknife/O-Lite, they do a phenomenal job. And I know that for their knives, I'm like 99.9% positive that Kaiser makes their knives. I would be very shocked if that wasn't the case. Kaiser does a great job as well. So their knives, definitely good. Their EDC accessories that they've been doing have been phenomenal. I mean, my pry bar gets so much use. This is the O-Pry 2. This thing, I swear by this thing. You know, like there's more custom and, you know, more fancy pry bars out there, but I don't see myself replacing this because it is such a useful multi-tool, and it's a pry bar with like 6 different tools in it. You know, shoot, I love it, and it gets a lot of use. I actually use this a decent amount when I go to take my knives apart, because oftentimes, because of how often I oil my knives, sometimes like the liner's stuck and I need to pop it, or there's something that's just press fit in. And that's when it's nice to use this to kind of pop it out. Hey, shout out to Blue Minotti Ninja rolling in with the 5 gifted memberships.
This is Sparta!
Damn. Blue, thank you, man. Thank you. So generous. Blue is one of the most generous knife community members that I've come across. I don't know how you do it, man, but thank you for all that you do. Thank you for your generosity, and welcome in, and in some cases, welcome back to the new connoisseurs and collectors of all things sharp and shiny. All right.
This is Sparta!
See, Dang Ross making full use out of the channel emojis. Yeah, guys, enjoy those emojis. It kind of reminds me, it's been a minute since I've uploaded new emojis. Since we've had so many new channel members in the last couple of months, I've got to update that. I've got to bring in some more emojis. So keep your eyes peeled. There's going to be some new emojis on the horizon. Hey, welcome into Snot Rag. All right. Jim Miller says Kaiser definitely makes Oknife knives. Yeah, there's nothing official on it though. Like, we all know, just like we know that Hogue makes the Kershaw live wire, but there's also nothing super official on that either, which I'm always hesitant about, because it leaves room for them to you know, just like make little changes and then leave us all assuming, you know, like for example, what if like tomorrow Kershaw decides, you know what, we're not going to use Hogue anymore. Hogue is too expensive. We're going to have CRKT make our live wire, and they wouldn't have anything on record saying that they're using this OEM or that OEM. And we'd be left over here thinking that it's still Hogue with the you know, the good MagnaCut. So I try to have a dose of skepticism. I think it's healthy. All right. So, what a Wednesday, guys. I do too much browsing on Instagram. And if you don't know, I am in fact on Instagram. It's Rollshambo_EDC. You can find me. You can follow. I post a lot of pictures here. Sometimes they're pictures that don't make their way into the videos. Sometimes they are. It just kind of depends. But if you ever want to see that, if you ever want to check out the good stuff, like, I put a lot of energy into these photos, and I think that they've ultimately gotten better as I've done more of them. But if you like knife photos, if you like EDC photos, feel free to hop on the Instagram and come check it out. Also, it's a good, like, if you feel like you missed a video, it's pretty typical for me to post some of the best shots from each video on here as well. The funny thing is that people kept commenting on the fire. The photo I took, the fire is AI generated. I'll admit it. I didn't light a candle or anything, or you guys probably can figure that out. You're smart. But yeah, feel free to check me out on Instagram. I do a lot of searching on here, and one of the knives that recently came out that I really want, but it's not cheap, and I'm wondering if anyone's got one. It's the Mechforce Alpha Hunter. It's so freaking good, and I believe they actually have one on NC Blade. They may have sold out already. Alpha Hunter. No, they still have a few left. Nice. So this one is one that, like, out of the two that are left, the one with the silver twill carbon fiber. Oh man, that is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I love the blade shape. That's not going to be for everybody. Some people are going to look at that and be like, dude, that's a little bit too aggressive for my Amazon boxes. But for me, I actually really like it. Hey, welcome into the Night's Edge. Thanks for being a channel member. We appreciate you. But yeah, $410. It ain't cheap. That ain't cheap. But it looks really good, and Mechforce is known for putting out some pretty dang good quality knives. So that one recently released. The one that I'm not surprised that sold out first was the 80s carbon ceramic inlays. Something that I'm not a huge fan of on these is that you can tell that it's the style of the fat carbon where they impregnated too much color into the scales. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame, because, and when we talked about this on the last live stream, but one of the best things about carbon fiber is the different dimensions you can get out of it when you don't put too much of the color into it. So for example, you get different colors on that based on how the light's hitting it. But when you put in too much color, yeah, you solidify the spots that have the color on it, but you lose all that dimension, which is, honestly, it's a no-go. There we go. I was searching for that sound effect. And I like 80s camo carbon. I just wish that they hadn't put too much of the color in there, because I think that it actually gets rid of that dimension, which I'm a big fan of. But they did sell that version out first, and then they sold this one out next with the black Damascus inlays. I'm actually shocked that this one is only $75 more expensive for that much Damascus. Typically, the Damascus hardware and inlays cost a lot more. An extra $75 if you're a fan of Damascus is not actually that bad. And I say that it's a $485 knife. I'm like, it's not that bad. No. Just, go ahead and spend your grocery budget this month on a Mechforce Alpha Hunter. Don't do that. I mean, unless you can afford it, unless you've got that cheddar. But the one that I would go for if I was in the market for one right now is this one with the silver twill. I think that looks great. It's gorgeous. Love the blade shape. It's not going to be for everybody. Some people are going to say that they're trying too hard on that blade shape. I know. Ed B says a blade can never be too aggressive. I think it depends on what you're using it for. Some knives are very, very purpose built, and that purpose can shift, right? Maybe you don't want this Tonto harpoon style blade shape for, opening letters, or, cutting up, little fruit for little kids. In a situation like that, you might want something more like, hold on, for a more simple EDC task. If you're not trying to intimidate people, you might want something more like this. But personally, I love that blade geometry. It makes me wonder how slicey it is. I know that is a hollow grind right there. So how thin behind the edge does it get? I don't know, but it could be a brick. Did anyone pick one of these up? Will you lend it to me so I can review it? Let me know. All right. Hey, Transparent Knives in the house.
Certified badass.
If you don't know about Transparent Knives, Brian is the GOAT at Reblades. Make sure to check him out on Instagram. Paul Mills says, Transparent Knives, I love the Mini Evo harpoon. It's my favorite sharp by design blade shape for sure. I haven't checked out a Brian Nadeau design yet. That is a yet. That's another one of those designers / makers that I want to find a way to fit on the roster this year. 2024 is the year where we start getting into some of the more crazy stuff. Todd Carr says, thing about fat carbon, you never know what you're going to get. 100% very different patterns sometimes. That is true. It's nice because you almost always get something that is pretty unique to you. That's been my experience. The Night's Edge says, I'm pretty stoked about Spyderco's new coating that Eric was talking about at SHOT Show. I missed it. I'm going to have to catch up later on that. Is that like a new DLC coating, or is it something that's supposed to replace DLC for them? I don't know. Lord Needham says, evening gents, headed to bed. Hey, Lord Needham, thank you for dropping by, my friend. And we will catch you on the flip side. Transparent Knife says, in my opinion, the harpoon is too forced on that design. I mean, it's pretty aggressive. You know what I would have liked to have seen on this? And some of you might not agree. I would have liked to have seen a little bit of a recurve instead of a flat. A little bit of a recurve on the main part of that Tonto blade. I think that'd be great. Recurves are awesome for maintaining a cut. They just kind of pull everything into that cutting edge once you're in the cut. And so as far as being useful, I think that a slight recurve on that would have actually gone a long ways. Recurves aren't that popular though. I think people are afraid of sharpening them because, you know, you have to use like the corner of a stone or a rounded stone if you're using a guided knife sharpener. So people are afraid of recurves, which is a damn shame because they are really good at cutting. Tom McDonald says, really dig the blade on the new Bowie Pyrite? The new Bowie Pyrite? Bowie, whatever. I haven't seen that yet. What is this? The CJRB Bowie Pyrite. Show me. I love Bowie blades. They gotta have it. Is it coming soon? Is it already here? I've lost track of time. They have nothing. It must be new. It's gotta be. Where is it? How did I miss this? We're gonna try to find it. It's got to be around here somewhere. Maybe it's one of those things that was revealed at SHOT Show. As you can tell, I haven't watched any of the SHOT Show footage yet. CJRB, Bowie, Pyrite, SHOT Show. It's probably released at SHOT Show. All right, we're gonna kill the music and see. We're going to go on over to Big Red EDC.
All right, guys, here we are, Artisan Cutlery, SHOT Show 2024, and there's Russell. What's up, buddy?
What's up? It is another beautiful day at SHOT. We're tired already. But
another beautiful day that I missed.
Well, all right then. You definitely have lots of knives, so let's...
Oh, man. Okay, so...
Hey, shout out to Mark Cook, channel member for 1 month. He says, good to see you. Have you seen the mini Valhalla?
This is Sparta!
Yes, I have. And thank you again for being a channel member for 1 month, Mark. The new mini Valhalla is one that I'm really excited about. And I will make sure that I get it on the channel for review. I like the regular Lock-in Valhalla. That one seems like it's hard for the everyday person to carry. Even people like me, like I will carry a regular large size Berserker from Midgards Messer, which is a huge knife. I'll show you. Like I will carry this knife. This knife is massive. And the Lock-in Valhalla makes this one seem, you know, a little bit on the small side. So the fact that they're coming out with a smaller one, and we could even call it a smaller one, it's still going to be a pretty big knife. We'll show it here next. I'm just trying to find this Bowie Pyrite.
What do we got?
We'll start on the artisan side. So let's start out. I got one right here that is just been released. This isn't really it's not a proto, but this is the Weighed-In, designed by Nick Rogers. I kind of love this.
Nick Rogers, his
really
designs
gives off that traditional style vibe, but it's got nothing traditional about it.
Yeah,
I love the little.
I love
accent.
the pop. Yeah, that's nice.
That inlay is
nice,
pretty cool.
Kind of deep milling on here. We have this backspace that's just slightly raised, adds some contouring. This blade shape is just super pointy and slicey.
Yeah.
And it's actually, he intentionally kept it a little heavier than most. It's not super thick, but there's a good amount of weight here that's been not relieved out, just to make sure this...
All right, I'm going to skip ahead on this a little bit, because this is 18 minutes long.
From Ray directly, and I love that knife. So I pushed really hard to get this one done, and Ray's like, okay, sure.
Right on. I'll probably have to have one of those too.
Oh yeah,
it's a Dylan knife.
I know.
Oh, that looks good.
The new Dylan, always gotta get. I think he has that typical like.
Maybe I'm missing it, but I'm expecting it to be a button lock.
This size is perfect. This thing's doing something. Also, I do love. Of it. This feels like it's a cutter. This thing is a catch and cut kind of tool.
RB?
over to CJRB, where of course
Okay,
we
here we
always
go.
deliver on this side because, you know, come on.
Is that a little fixie dagger?
Reign supreme, but let's
like
start
that.
out with something new.
Okay.
We have the Prado, designed by, again, Ray Laconico. And this, I believe, is Ray's first crossbar lock entirely. I don't think he's done a design at all that has a crossbar lock.
It's about time. Everyone else does. Come on, I want to find where's the buoy pyrite?
That it sits this way, where it's really just like a box.
Yeah.
But the action on this is buttery smooth. I've never. That is both old and new. Looks familiar, right?
Oh, yeah.
We are doing a large version of the Warney Pyrite.
Yes. The Warney Alt Pyrite. The Reverse Tonto. The Warncliffe Pyrite, or as I like to call it, the Horny Pirate. I'm really looking forward to that because I've got the regular large pyrite. Hold on. It's locked away. I've got the regular large pyrite, and it's just, honestly, like, it's not something that I get excited about. It just isn't. I do like the blade shape better on the Alt Pyrite, but that's also why I'm looking for this prototype release for the buoy pyrite.
Get
Where is
ready,
it?
y'all who want.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, now we're talking. Yes. 100 times yes.
Oh, yeah.
CJRB, I don't know if you're watching. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. I'm gonna need one of those on the channel. That looks fantastic. I will get that on the channel regardless. I will find a way. The nice thing is that we already know that it's not going to be super expensive. They keep those in usually like in the budget realm, somewhere around $45 to $60. I would love one of those in a more premium version in titanium, which we know that they will probably do. Yeah, no, that looks great. That looks really good. I'm going to keep watching. I want to see if that fuller is something that you can actually use for deployment or if it's just aesthetic.
Works. The studs work. That beautiful clip point. Look again at that like thin point. That
Oh,
is a
wow, yeah.
pointy clip point. That is a pointy Bowie.
Yes, it is.
Nice amount of jibbing right there. This thing is comfortable in hand as all the other ones are, but that Bowie blade really gives me combat knife vibes.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping we'll do this one with a black blade and some tan micarta. You know the drill.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
this one we should be getting out sometime within the next few months. So hopefully we'll be doing an April release after the Lunar New Year holiday.
Okay,
But we're really
April.
excited for this to come out. And I think with the people who like the pyrite,
Stay tuned, April.
Maybe this might not be their cup of tea. Maybe it might be. Maybe we got someone who really was looking for something that wasn't a Warncliffe, wasn't a drop point. They wanted a clip point. But I think the
Todd Carr says, I'd like it better if it wasn't a button lock. Dang, give us Spyderco compression lock style button locks already. That's my sentiment. 100%. That's my sentiment. I'm a big supporter of changing our norm from plunge lock style buttons to compression style buttons. Vosteed has shown that Spyderco isn't going after anybody for using the compression lock. You know, maybe don't call it a compression lock. You know, Vosteed wasn't that bold. But the RS Chaos, yeah. And also, I know that Vosteed is going to be releasing a lot more with the top liner lock. That is their jargon for the button style compression. They're going to be releasing a lot more knives with that this year. Those are going to be huge. Hey, shout out to Mark Cook with the 5 gifted memberships.
This is Sparta!
Mark, thank you so much for your generosity, man. We definitely appreciate it. And welcome in and welcome back to the new connoisseurs and collectors of all things sharp and shiny. So generous, man. Thank you for supporting the channel. As far as the plunge lock design, I'm okay on a less expensive knife. You're not going to find me ever justifying spending a ton on expensive button like plunge locks anymore. And I say anymore because one of my first expensive knives, which I no longer have, was the Hoback Sumo, which is an expensive button lock knife. And I loved that knife. but it developed button stick, and we found out that it wasn't actually made in the US. Hoback Sumo. It was a cool knife. You know, like I could see why it cost that much, but there's no reason why we shouldn't see more compression style buttons, because one, they have an actual detent, so they're more satisfying. Two, the compression lock has been proven to be one of the most solid locking designs ever made. And by the way, shout out to Crazy Roach. Welcome in, another connoisseur and collector of all things sharp and shiny. Thank you for joining as a new member, Crazy. We definitely appreciate you, man. Thank you for supporting the channel. And also, again, guys, keep your eyes peeled, because I'm going to be coming out with a new emoji pack. But also, I am considering doing other things for channel members as well. One thing that I'm thinking about doing is starting a channel members only Discord, where I post things like my Steel Snobs comparison sheet for knife steel comparisons. I'm considering doing a lot more things specifically for the channel members who support the channel really hardcore, and I definitely appreciate you guys. So keep your eyes peeled. I'll be posting stuff like that in the community tab on my YouTube channel. So all you channel members, new and old, stuff is on the way. I say stuff because some of it is still up in the air, some of it's in progress, but I got stuff. That's awful. He doesn't come to the table with the script. None of this stuff is scripted. I've got plans, and there's going to be more available for channel members this year than ever before. Currently, anytime I do a knife sale, channel members get the first dibs before it ever goes out to the general public. So if you see a knife on my channel, just know that it might eventually be for sale. And last time that I did a sale, I put up some pretty good prices. Hey, shout out to the Knight's Edge gifting for the gifted membership. It's Steven Johnson who received that gifted membership from the Knight's Edge. Thank you, man. You guys are supporting so hardcore today. I appreciate that. It really does mean a lot. You know, with the channel in the growing pains period, you know, we just crossed 6,200 subscribers, and for some people that might seem like a lot, but we're still in the growth stage. And every time someone becomes a channel member, it actually helps out the channel immensely. So thank you. The Knight's Edge, Crazy Roach, Bluminati Ninja, everybody who continues to become channel members and gift those memberships. It really does mean a lot. Crazy Roach says Discord channels are always fun. Yeah, I agree. I just want one that's mine. You know, I'm always a part of everybody else's Discords, and I always feel awkward in them. So it's about time that I make my own. So keep your eyes peeled. It's coming. Dang Ross says stuff and things on the way. I don't prepare for these, guys. I don't like sit down and list out, here's what I should talk about on the live stream. I'm not that organized. I don't do a great job of planning ahead. And most of that is because I do these live streams to connect with you guys, to hang out in the chat, to check out new knives. That's a big reason why I do these live streams. So I purposely don't prepare, because I think it's more fun this way. The Knight's Edge says, I got to give it to you before the IRS and Sezzle gets it. Oh, the IRS. I just want to know, why is it that, you know what? I'm not going to go there. Tax season is depressing enough. We don't need to talk about it. John Blackman, welcome in, man. I don't think I've said hi to you yet, John. Welcome in, brother. Thank you for being a channel member. He says, which do you like better? I'm assuming you're asking which I like better, the compression lock or the triad lock. So this is a two-part answer to that question. First thing, the triad lock is quite possibly one of the, if not the strongest lock that you can get on a folding knife. And I say that with an asterisk because there's always that one weird oddball knife out there that has, you know, the ridiculous one. I'm not talking about knives that have the assisted screw that turns it into a fixed type blade. I'm talking about regular knife locks. Pound for pound, I don't know if it gets better as far as sturdiness and locking capabilities on knives that have the triad lock. If you're doing something like batoning with your knife, it's completely fine. And you're more likely to have other parts of the knife fail before the lock itself fails. So, with that being said, the compression lock still holds, I believe it's like on a straight weight bearing test. I think it tested out something ridiculous like 500 or 700 pounds on a weight load bearing test for the compression lock. And on top of that, it keeps your hands out of the cutting path. It's easier to actuate, to engage and disengage. And so personal preference, knowing that even though the triad lock is quite possibly the sturdiest knife lock, pound for pound, my favorite is still going to be a compression lock. And that has a lot to do with how easy it is to manipulate, actuate, engage, disengage. I like that it keeps your fingers out of the cutting path. I like that you don't have, it doesn't feel like a back lock. And I know triad locks are inherently different than back locks, but would I rather open a knife with a compression lock or with the triad lock, understanding that they're both going to perform just fine? I'd rather have, for my use case scenario, I would rather have the compression lock. But, you know, with that being said, if you're looking for something that's going to withstand the most abuse, yeah, triad lock all day. It's not even a competition at that point. Hey, shout out to Dwayne Letterman and Fook Doozle in the house. Todd Carr says, John Blackman, triad lock is definitely the stronger, and for outdoors it's great, but for everyday use the compression lock is easier to use, ton strong for any work you need for EDC. Yeah, my thoughts exactly. For ease of use, it's going to be the compression lock, and the compression lock is just a super solid all-around lock. I would love to see all liner locks and plunge locks replaced with some sort of compression lock, personally. Here's what you want to know, what grinds my gears. There's always these people, whenever I do a video on a knife that has a compression lock, there's always these people that end up in the comment section and they're like, well, you know, like, it's just a liner lock. It's not. It is inherently different than a liner lock. And sometimes I just don't have the time or the crayons to explain to everybody what exactly a compression lock is. But I always get those comments where people say, well, it's just a liner lock. It's kind of like having the discussion where you have to explain to someone that, you know, all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. Crazy Roach says compression lock all day. You can't go wrong with compression lock at all. You really can't. Hey, what's up, Mind of Milton in the house?
Oh, yeah.
Jim Miller says the Vision FG is really good. You know, the only complaint that I've heard on the Vision FG is that a lot of, and I say this just based on the people that I talk to. I've come across plenty of people that state that it gets really uncomfortable using the super lock on the Vision FG, that they get like sore fingertips from actuating that. Then again, that's no different than when people complain about, you know, getting shark bite on a Demco shark lock, which, by the way, I haven't really experienced. I carry this knife a lot, and the shark lock doesn't bother me, so who knows. Craig Vincent says, coincidentally, Bo, I too am a square. See, I'm a circle. That's why I have to go to the gym. Fookdoozle says, for the super lock to get uncomfortable, you have to be fidgeting it with it a lot, not normal use. I agree, but I will say, think about just how often enthusiasts fidget with their knives, especially the more budget-friendly knives. There's a reason why plunge lock knives are so popular, and a lot of people buy them as basically as adult fidget spinners. You know, agree, disagree. People like to fidget with their knives. So for the Vision FG, a lot of people also see it in that same light. You know, the Shark lock, yes, it's a solid lock, but if people just wanted a super reliable lock, they just buy a knife with the Triad lock. People like the Shark lock because it's very fidgety, it's easy to index, open, close, so on and so forth. So the reason why it's still relevant is because even though you're only going to really notice that discomfort using the super lock on the Vision FG when you fidget with it a lot, you have to anticipate that people are just going to fidget with it a lot. But you know what they say, if you shake it more than twice, you're just playing with it. Are we still talking about knives? I think so. What's up, Paper Tiger? Welcome in. Tori Casey says, just got done working on one of mine. I got 2 Spideys that are problem children. Other 15 or so are all perfect. You know, I haven't run across any problem childs with Spyderco yet. You know, maybe I'm just lucky, or maybe they don't have that many. You know, even when I see the Spyderco seconds, the Spyderco seconds are almost always nearly perfect with like these tiny blemishes. Mark Cook says, RS Chaos is my favorite fidget knife. I love that knife. Channel moderator Top Dog ended up buying mine on the channel sale we did at the end of the year. That was one of those knives that I strongly considered not selling, but I sold it because as much as I liked it, I really want to look forward to the new knives that Vosteed is going to come out with this year that also have the top liner lock. I wanted to make room, and so I sold it. Top Dog has mine. Sounds like he's happy with it. I do miss it. It's a good knife. It's such a good knife. Love the RS Chaos. Fookdoozle says, I want to try a cold steel Atlas lock. You know what you should check out if you want to try out a cold steel Atlas lock, and I'll just go to let's do, why not, Blade HQ. Everyone knows it. The cold steel Engage. So one of the knives that I want to get and then also modify is the 3.5-inch cold steel Engage. So check it out. Made in Taiwan. This is the 3.5-inch blade version, S35VN steel, $165. It's got G10 handle scales, but they do a really good job on the contouring on those handle scales. The G10 feels premium. However, what I would do, and this is something that I want to do at some point this year, I want to get a cold steel Engage, and I'm going to go over here to Original Goat, and I'm going to get a new set of handle scales. And here's the thing, guys. You don't have to get the titanium handle scales. The aluminum handle scales are plenty good. You can even get them with the upgraded skiff bearings on here. Like, that's fantastic. That's freaking amazing. But I want those scales, this specific style right here. They call it the wings. I want this style right here on this knife, and it'll be over. That'll immediately become one of the most carried knives. I guarantee it. But the moment I do that, it's going to kind of shut down my carry rotation for a while. I just know. I have a 3-inch version of the cold steel Engage, and I love it. It lives in my EDC pouch. Mr. Prosthetic, welcome in, man. He says, speaking of shark bite, the cold steel Atlas lock is pretty tough on the fingers as well. It has a lot to do with how you decide to actuate it. And, you know, give me a second. Give me a second. I'm going to find it. I want to demonstrate this. But I know it's around here somewhere. My office is a mess, so forgive me, but all right, well, I'll just show you based on this. Depending upon which engage you have, with the 3-inch version, the Atlas lock, unlike the shark lock, see how the shark lock is actuated up here near the tang of the blade? On an Atlas lock, it's almost identical, but it is engaged halfway through. And so you have to put your finger at this odd angle if you are trying to engage it the same way that you would a shark lock. Now, what I have found is, at least on the 3-inch version, you can engage it with your thumb and it'll drop without hitting a cutting edge on your finger. And so you can disengage it with your thumb, and it is so much more comfortable to disengage with your thumb than it is to disengage with your index finger, because you have to do one of these jobs and it puts your index finger at an odd angle. So the problem I see is that people try to engage it and disengage it the exact same way they would a shark lock, which, you know, it's not awkward to do that with a shark lock at all. It is kind of awkward to do that with the Atlas lock, but if you use your thumb, it'll actually drop the blade. The non-sharpened piece will hit your finger, and then you can just, you know, do a half stop home. And it is so much more comfortable. Hey, shout out to Edgy American. What's good, Shane? Welcome in, brother. Good to see you. Kevin C says, dang, I want one of those new pyrites. Wife is going to kill me. Is it too early to say rest in peace? No. We got Mike and Ike's EDC says, stopping by to smash that like button. Did you know every time you watch one of my live streams and you don't smash the like button, a knife is born with a weak detent? Only you can prevent weak detents. Smash the like button. It does help. I definitely appreciate it. Brian Carr says, how do you feel about the SOG SOG XR lock? I mean, I haven't really. So here's the deal. I'm not big on SOG, on the studies and observations group. They haven't come out with something that's really intrigued me in a while. And I know that the XR lock is basically their version of the Axis lock. That's not necessarily a lock type that I am big on, because there's very few companies that do it in such a way that I actually like it. Kaiser does it really well with their clutch lock version. Benchmade, I mean, I don't even necessarily like the Benchmade Axis lock. When I tried it on the Mini Adamas last year, I was a little bit disappointed. So I'm not big on crossbar style locks. There's always exceptions to that. But the SOG XR lock doesn't necessarily get my blood pumping. Mark Cook says, what's your preferred method to recenter a blade? Great question. So what I like to do is, it depends on the body screws. So what happens? Okay, your blade can be off center for a couple of reasons. The first reason you can't necessarily fix, and that is if the blade is warped. And yes, that does happen sometimes. If you ever find yourself with a warped blade, you should 100% return it to the manufacturer. That should be something covered under warranty. So if the blade is warped, no amount of fiddling with it's going to fix it. Another reason why it could be off center that you can't fix is if the grind is funky. If they ground it off center and the grind is bad, that can make it off center, and you can't do anything to fix that. That's also something to be covered under warranty. However, typically what it is that factories like to over tighten screws. Sometimes because machines are doing it, sometimes because people that are in a hurry are doing it. So typically what I like to do, and I'll show on this one. So on this Spyderco, for example, if I wanted to make sure the blade was centered, first thing I'd do is I'd loosen the pivot and I'd loosen the body screws. Then I would take, based on what side the blade is favoring, like if it's favoring to the left, I would take a folded up piece of paper and wedge it. Like for example, I'd wedge it in between the blade and the scale, and then I'd crank down on the pivot as far as it would go, and then I'd tighten my body screws. Take out the paper wedge and back off that pivot, and what you'll see is the blade center itself. And usually when that happens, you also get much better action. So sometimes it can be as simple as just loosening the pivot. This is a good example of that. When I got my Brian Brown Jaeger MV3, what happened was that this blade was off center and the action was bad. Thankfully, all I had to do was loosen the pivot screw a little bit, and I literally watched as that blade centered itself. And when it hit dead center, the action improved tenfold. It was staggering just how much it improved. And so sometimes it's as little as just loosening the pivot. Pivot could be over tightened, or in some cases tightening the pivot. Or you can loosen the pivot and the body screws, take a paper wedge, give it a bias to the opposite side that it wasn't biased before. Tighten the pivot and then tighten the body screws, back off the pivot after releasing the wedge, and that'll do it. It's the same method that a lot of channels use. I know Metal Complex uses a method like that. I know Nick Shabazz uses a method like that. I learned from them. I learned by watching their videos. I'll be honest. I'll give credit where credit's due, but that's just what I do. Tom McDonald says fidgeting with the cold steel mayhem is dangerous. It's dangerous for your health. Yeah, so I cut myself accidentally with my knives all the time. I'm trying to get better at that because it's usually a reflection of mindless fidgeting. And so the main reason why I haven't picked up a cold steel mayhem is that I know that I'm going to, I'll lop off a finger, dude. I'll be on here, waving at people with one less finger. I still want one. Fook Doozle says like button. That's the new thumbs down, right? You know what? Believe it or not, they both help. They both help the algorithm. Even if you dislike this, if you're watching this and you're like, this live stream sucks, but I'm going to continue to watch, and you hit that thumbs down button, that actually still helps the algorithm. So thank you. Transparent Knives says TIL SOG stands for Studies and Observations Group. Yeah. Isn't that what I said? Did I say it wrong? I thought I said it right. Who knows? It's been a long day. I only got 2 hours of sleep last night. It's probably why I seem a little cracked out. Mark Cook says it's off because I messed with the screws. That happens. A lot of times people will see a knife go off center after they disassemble it to maintenance it. That's why it's really important to have a plan in mind on how to get it back to center if that happens. Fook Doozle says, I've had mixed luck fixing off-center blades. Sometimes I can tweak it like you described, sometimes not. You know, the way that I see it is, if it was centered to begin with, and you take it apart, and you put it back together and it's off-center, that typically points to something not being put back together 100%, or something being tweaked or warped during the disassembly process. So if it was centered before you took it apart and not afterwards, you should, in theory, be able to get it back to center, unless maybe you bent a liner. Maybe you over tightened a body screw. If it was centered before, you can get it back to center. Trust me. Sometimes it's a bit of a rabbit hole, and it's like trying to unravel a knot. But if it was centered to begin with, you can definitely get it back there. Mr. Prosthetic says, I have a handful of giant cold steels that I fidget with all the time. It's also why I'm Mr. Prosthetic. Oh, that's fantastic. Hey, what's up, Josh Branson? Welcome in, man. Good to see you. And you guys are killing me tonight. That is funny. Funny. All right. Let's see. But yeah, I would love to get a cold steel engage 3.5 inch, slap some OG scales on there, some original goat scales. It's something that I'm going to have to do at some point this year. So this is one that I wanted to see if anyone else is looking at. This blade shape is crazy. Now, I love clip point blades. This is the civivi Chiro. It's probably pronounced Cairo. Or is it? I don't know. 14C. It's $60. It's not a sencut. It's a civivi. Which in the budget realm, I don't necessarily know if that really makes a difference. But I actually am kind of interested in this one. Very pokey, plenty of belly. It looks like you can get some good purchase on that back end. Smack the back end with your thumb. Is that carbon fiber? It just says black handle. Come on, White Mountain Knives. But people are either going to love this or they're going to ignore it and say that they're trying too hard. But that's one that caught my eye. And then we've already talked about the Nixie 3, the Cuckoo, the Milita. Ooh, these just recently released. So if you are into slip joints, and I know some of you are not, the Bag Knives slip joints have just released. Now, I'm still not huge on slip joints. I mean, I have this one, and I love this one. This one is fantastic. But it's very purpose-built, easy to carry. That's why I like it. Looks like they sold out of all of them. All of them. Damn. I was gonna say the one that I really like the look of is this one right here. $53. The Big Bullet Train slip joint. I'm curious. But yeah, those sold out rather quickly. Ed B says the Chiro is G10. I'm not surprised. You know, at the $50 price point, it might look like a carbon fiber, you know, to my tired eyes, but that is, you know, for $59, not surprised at all. Wow, they've got Chris Reeves large Sabenzas over at White Mountain Knives right now. If you use code RSB10, you can take 10% off, which is $65 discount on a Chris Reeve large Sabenza. Looks like those are all left-hand versions. Here we go. That one's a right-hand version. Yeah. Save yourself $65 if you want a Sabenza RSB10. The Kaiser Task. Let's see. I'm trying to see what else is new. Kevin C says, how much are those? Are we talking about the slip joints or the large Sabenzas? The large Sabenzas were $650. Keep in mind, White Mountain Knives does not charge tax or shipping, and you can use a discount code to get 10% off. But if you were asking about the bag knives slip joints, those were like 50 60 bucks. They're sold out, consequently. I'm not surprised. A lot of people were excited about those. 53 bucks, and they all sold out. Every single one of their new slip joints sold out. I'll tell you what, though, the one from Bag Knives that I'm actually really looking forward to is the Microburst. And I'll find it. Let's see. And I've already talked to them about this, and it sounds like they've confirmed that I'll get one on the channel when they come out with them. But the one that I'm really excited about is this guy right here. The Bag Knives Microburst. It's a JVO and Rod Olson design. So Jared Van Otterloo and Rod Olson. And it's kind of like a top flipper, front flipper, top flipper. I think it looks fantastic. They teased these at Blade Show last year. I didn't go, but I really like what they've done with these. And they're going to have a couple different configurations. I think it looks sweet. So yeah, looking forward to that. That's the one that I'm really, really waiting on, though. They also have a couple from Kirby Lambert. Kirby Lambert's joining the fun with Bag Knives. Look at that. Oh, it just looks so good. I mean, it is a thumb disc. I'm not huge on thumb discs, but that looks so good. Mr. Prosthetic says White Mountain Knives has a bunch of Valhallas back in. Those knives are silly. They have Valhallas right now? Really? Let's see. Midgards Messer Odin's toothpick. No, it looks like it's sold. I mean, it looks like it's sold out. The Valhalla V2 anyways. It's such a cool knife. Whether you're a collector or an enthusiast, even if you're not going to carry that, you have to admit that is cool. Todd Carr says there's a handful of knives that the White Mountain Knives code won't work on. Not sure which ones though. Yeah, I mean, you know, I do this a lot where I'll go on there and I'll just, when I see something, I'll just start checking to find out. I mean, it's pretty easy to find out. For example, let's say that I wanted, like if I wanted to check it on this Sebenza, right? I would just go ahead and add to cart. Keep in mind, I'm not actually going to buy it. I'd go to view or edit your cart. And let's see. Could I save you 65 big ones on a Sebenza? RSB10. Survey says, yeah, there it is, baby. Look at that. $65 discount. Some of your relatives didn't even buy you presents that cost $65. You know who I'm talking about. I know, I'm not the only one with the White Mountain Knives discount code. And I don't actually get anything if you use it. But it does tell them that people watch my channel. And you can save yourself some money. Why not? Greg Vanderlip says the thumb disc one looks cool enough. Yeah, they've got some good stuff coming out this year. This is another one from Kirby Lambert that I'm excited about. People might actually be sleeping on this one because it's a flipper only design, but I like the robust look. It's robust and simple and aggressive. Kirby Lambert is a badass.
Certified badass.
I don't think he's done any design that I haven't liked, to be honest. So good. Todd Carr says White Mountain Knives is definitely my go-to before other places for sure. Great service as well as great prices. Yeah, man. They are really, really good. Did you know that they're actually the first retailer that agreed to loan me knives from their inventory to make videos on? And he didn't ask for anything in return. It was really cool. So shout out to White Mountain Knives.
This is Sparta!
So yeah, guys, I'm starting to go hoarse. It's because I talk a lot. Trust me, people have told me I talk too much. So typically my live streams go for an hour. We're at an hour and 8 minutes. So this is in fact the time that I wanted to say thank you to everybody who's tuned in. Welcome into all the new channel members. Thank you to the people who became new channel members and gifted memberships. If you want to watch another Rollshambo live stream, we go live twice a week now. The next time I go live will be Saturday at 1:30 Mountain Standard Time. So that's 1:30 Mountain Time, 2:30 Central Time, 3:30 Eastern Time, or 12:30 Pacific Time. For some of you, I'll see you soon. For everyone else, I'll see you later. Have a fantastic rest of your week, everybody, and I will catch you on Saturday.